Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to September's Circle of Light. It's wonderful to have you with us, whether you're here live or listening later on replay. And thank you for creating this time and this space in your busy agendas and busy lives to come and create sacred space with us. So let's begin by just centering and getting ourselves in a nice and meditative space. So if you'd like to settle in your chair and just rocking your weight gently from side to side so that you come to rest in center. And as you do, taking one breath into the center of your being, and then on the next in-breath, seeing a column of light that comes up from the center of 5D and above Earth, passes into the body through the root chakra, all the way up and out through the crown chakra, and all the way up to source light above. And on the next in-breath, breathe source light in through the crown chakra, all the way down to the root chakra, and on the out-breath, expand this source light out to completely fill your physical, emotional, and mental bodies and fields. And another breath, breathing in source light in through the crown chakra, all the way down to the root chakra, and on the out-breath, expanding it out to completely fill your physical, emotional, and mental bodies and fields. And gathered here together in sacred circle space, let us set the intention that each of us taking part live in the circle today or listening later on replay may receive that which serves our most absolute highest timeline, our most absolute highest joy, and our most absolute highest service work from the circle, our time together, and the activations and integrations that we receive. And asking that the activations and integrations that we receive are integrated in the way that serves our most absolute highest timeline, both today and going forward through the month. Beloved ones, welcome to September's Circle of Light. It is so good to have this time to spend with you and for you to come together in sacred circle and sacred communion for this time in which the beating of your hearts is as one and in harmony with the most absolute, highest timeline for the whole. When you come together in this way, your combined energy creates a strong, energetic force field, which makes it easier for shifts, changes, and transformations to be created in each of your lives. It is I, the Archangel Metatron of Absolute Light, speaking to you now. I and the other Archangels of Absolute Light are so happy to be able to spend this time in which you are gathered together in sacred communion, activating each of you to come into alignment with the most absolute, highest timeline available to you in this sacred moment of now and the next highest dimension available to you in your life in general. This activation will begin as soon as you deepen into the silence of your sacred heart space. To this end, let us first come together in 10 minutes of sacred silence. During this time, there is nothing for you to do except for to focus on the love that you are in your sacred essence and the light that you are in your most absolute, highest, essential truth. In order to do this, focus on your sacred heart space and see a golden light there as you rest in the silence within. This is the light of who you are in your most absolute, highest essence and your most absolute, highest truth. Focusing on this golden light is all that you need to do. Simply continue to visualize a golden light in and surrounding your heart space for the time that we are silent together. Please try not to let your attention waver from the golden light that you see there. But if it does, please know it doesn't matter at all. As and when you notice that your attention has wavered, you can simply redirect your attention to the golden light that is you in your most absolute, highest essence and lives within your sacred heart space at all times. Let us begin. Now we are going to share our experiences of this activation with each other for about 10 minutes. As we do, I want each of you to put your focus on sharing how you felt during the activation or anything you noticed or observed within yourself or the room that you are in. It is important to develop the ability to notice these kinds of subtle changes within your body and the area that you are inhabiting. Being able to do so will help you to notice when you are being activated, as well as helping you to hear more clearly what your body is saying to you in any particular sacred moment of now. This month, we, the Archangels of Absolute Light, are going to continue to activate you very highly throughout the forthcoming month and a week. We are always with each of you at some point between circles, but this month we are going to visit each of you at some point each day. This is so that we can activate you to come into alignment with your most absolute highest service. Sharing together what you have observed and noticed as you have been activated today will help you to be more aware of and more able to notice the coming month. Is everyone clear on what it is that you are to do? We feel that you may want to write some notes first to support you as you share. So we will give you 3 minutes to do so, and then go into a sharing time in which we want you to share about what you have observed and noticed today as this powerful activation was enacted upon you. As some ideas or suggestions to get you started, some things that you may have noticed or observed are a change in body temperature, where you became either very hot or very cold. Perhaps you also noticed some different sensations in different areas of your body. The feeling of one of your chakras being opened or activated. Energy in your limbs, most particularly your legs. A slight pain in an area of your body, and or the sensation of needles gently pinpricking your skin in that area. There are many different ways for energy to manifest and move within the body, and the more you are familiar with some of the ways in which this occurs for you, the more you will start to notice the great shifts and changes that are going to be taking place within you on the physical level as you physically ascend. You will be activated for a large portion of the time that you are awake, and almost all the time that you are asleep going forward. And this time sharing together will help you not to be alarmed at some of the things you notice occurring in your physical space as this begins to happen to you. What others share may also help you to notice more about your own experience of what it's like and how it feels to be activated by a being of the most absolute highest light. So I don't know if everybody has pen and paper or pencil and paper with you, but we'll take about 3 minutes now, you just to jot down any ideas and then go into a sharing time. Okay, then. Do we have a volunteer who would like to share first? You can either raise your hand, I think, so that Reba can unmute you, or you can unmute yourself, I do believe.
Jeanette, did you just raise your hand?
What's that?
Did you just raise your hand?
I didn't, but I'm willing to go whenever
Okay.
we're ready.
Cool.
Want me to go first?
That would be wonderful. Thank you, Jeanette.
Okay. Well, despite feeling completely unprepared because I almost forgot tonight, so I got up here like last minute and I'm running around trying to get everything. I got right into the meditation, which was really nice. I find it much easier now. I had the crown tingling and my hands were tingling. I found energy was like shifting from one part of my body to another, and also at times like running up and running down again. And the ringing in my ear intensifies. It's there all the time, but it gets really intense. I notice during activations. And I was like, I always get carried away. Don't know where I am, but I get carried away.
You feel a bit floaty, you mean by that, or you get carried away?
Yeah, like I'm not here anymore. Like I really go deep. Yeah, it's really nice, actually. Nice to have that support.
That's a beautiful sharing. Thank you. And I'm sure some people will have similar experiences and some people will have completely different experiences. Yeah. And it's all okay. But thank you so much for sharing and for also for being first, which is always a little bit nerve-wracking, isn't it?
You're very welcome.
Who would like to share next?
I'll share, sure. The most notable thing for me was pretty, like during the first third, I felt like I thunked down, like, you know, almost like in the dreams where you kind of dream you miss a step and you get this thunk. And then I was like in it. And I actually pictured myself like in a little canoe on a, you know, in a light area. So I just sort of like very sudden, got delivered there. And I didn't quite float away, but I enjoyed that for a while. And then I started like having very active, but not logically meaningful thoughts, like, oh, doing this. And, you know, like in dreams where you're very, very busy and you wake up feeling like you're tired, but so doing this and doing that. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but very busy. And the other notable thing was just a transformation of mood from beginning to end. So thank you for that.
Oh, again, a beautiful sharing. Like, and how I love the way you phrased that. It was like you were, but I can't remember what word you used now, but delivered to that space, like kind of.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who can I unmute now? Becky, okay.
Okay, well, so at first I was like, well, I didn't actually experience anything, but I can tell you what, that's probably just judgment. My hands went to sleep and I thought it was literal circulatory issues, but maybe it wasn't. Like pins and needles in my hands, like really a lot, both of them. Like I shifted my position to try and ease it, but so that happened. I got insanely sleepy, and with the dream thing, like Reba just said, I like at the beginning my thoughts were doing things and I had to keep bringing myself back, but somewhere in the middle, all through the end, I kept bringing myself back, but found myself in like this sort of dreaming state where like stuff was weird and kept bringing myself back, but I had that experience too.
Oh, that's wonderful. That, and the hands, that really, as well as the dream like experience relating to Ariba, the hands experience really relates to what Jeanette was saying too, like the tingling of the energy in the hands. Maybe it was just like a more accentuated experience of that. Thank you again for a beautiful sharing.
Ryan or Linda, would you like to go next? Okay, Linda, I'm unmuting you. Okay, then Ryan.
Hi. What I noticed was at one point for a few 30 seconds or a minute, I felt really hot, really, really hot. So I guess that is some sort of reaction to the activation. And I kept going to my root chakra. I kept taking that golden light down there. So possibly that's opening a little bit, which would be great. And I was really, really good on concentrating on this gold light. So I'm happy with that. And I appreciated everybody's, I don't want to say symptoms. What's the word?
What is the word? Hey, people do call things symptoms.
It's helping me to be able to recognize in the future. So thank you.
Ryan's given us a good word. Experiences are experiences within our physical body or our mental or emotional body. Thank you, Linda. Again, that's beautiful. And like you say, it's wonderful when, it's first of all wonderful when we can feel that we're being activated and really deeply feel that support, as some other people have said. But it's also wonderful when we can feel like, oh, I was able to rest in that space and I was able to bring my focus there. And that's another feeling that is very uplifting for us, I think. So thank you for bringing that to the forefront too.
Okay, Ryan, I'm unmuting you. Oops, there we go.
We can't hear you, Ryan. Have you got it? Is it you're talking chat? Okay, and then either I can read it out or everyone can read it. What is preferable?
Why don't you read it out loud, Julia? That'll be
okay. So continuation of the last few months in that I cannot sit still for long. I feel the need to move and get very uncomfortable trying to keep it at bay. I couldn't remember exactly what we were supposed to do with the gold light, so I let myself bathe in it. I let it shine into and out of my chest, both in a focused and more diffuse way. Diffuse was more natural. And I let it just do what it wanted, which was just to form a small, dense gold ball in the middle of my chest. That was intense, and afterward I got hot. I stopped a couple of minutes early because I couldn't concentrate sitting any longer. That sounds beautiful, and like the golden energy kind of really took on a life of its own and showed you how it wanted you to interact with it too. And thank you, Ryan. If there's anything you want to add, please feel free to just add it in the message box too. Or maybe that's okay. Thank you very much. And then the only other person is Zlatida, I think, who I'm not sure if you were here for the actual activation or not, probably not.
In the last 5 or 10 minutes, so I'll listen on replay, but it's good to connect with you all live.
Thank you so much for joining us when you were able, and when you go back on, listen on replay, you'll know what we're all talking about.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for your beautiful sharings. And I really hope that hearing what other people have said has helped you to be able to notice also maybe more what's happening in your body, and to think, oh, I didn't even realize that was part of the activation, but maybe it was, and to just really help you also to validate your experience of it. And then for the remaining time on the call, the Archangel Metatron of Absolute Light has asked us to continue to rest in the deep silence of the sacred heart space. So whether you just want to breathe into your heart space, or whether you want to focus on the golden light in your heart space, again, I'll leave it entirely up to you. But well, we're now at 9:24, so we've got maybe 6 to 10 minutes, depending if we go over a few minutes or not. So if everyone would just like to come back into that quiet and silent space of sacred meditation and sacred communion with the divine within you that lives within your heart space again, for the remaining time that we have together. Okay, so when everyone's ready, if you'd like to start to come gently back to the room that you're in. And I'd just like to thank you all for sharing in this sacred space, sharing in the sacred space of communion with your own heart and the divinity of yourself, and also sharing in the sacred space of communion with each other. And as the Archangel Metatron of Absolute Light said earlier, the archangels will be visiting each of you at some point every day for the next 5 weeks, for a month and a week, were the words he used. So you might notice it or you might not notice it, I'm not sure, but know that it is happening, because that is what he has told me. And maybe I'll open a post in the forum at some point in about 3 weeks' time or so, just to maybe share our experiences of that too, because if not, we'll probably won't have time to connect together again about it. And as always, I will also post today with the opportunity for you to receive a short personal message from one of the Archangels of Absolute Light, if you would like to do so. So please keep an eye out for that too. That's kind of all that is my end. Reba, do you have anything else that you'd like to say before we finish? Or?
No, just thank you. I'm going to unmute everybody so we can all put our goodbyes.
Yeah, thank you to you too for creating this space where we can come together in this way.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's so beautiful. Thank you all and good night.
Thank you both. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
God bless.